Like, I just have this like sixth sense that I know when someone's gonna like try something. I don't know. And so he like slowly pulled away, and then he tried to kiss me, and I was like back to my YouTube channel, Dime More, which is Tell Me More in Spanish, and today I've got a lot to tell. Some of you who knows me knows that I am heavily into Spanish culture. I mean, from the music to the dances, I love it all. Last year, I actually went to see Bad Bunny in concert with my sister, and he's literally my all-time favorite Spanish artist. And it was life-changing. Like, I literally videoed the entire concert, almost, maybe 10 or 15 minutes I didn't, but I literally videoed until my arm was no longer. Like, I felt like I didn't have an arm. I mean, it hurt so badly. But it was so much fun. No, I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna cut it. Cut! I had floor seats and I almost touched him. Almost. Security was a little tight, but he was literally like one person away from me. Okay, no, two people away from me. There were two guys sitting on the end seats, and it was my sister and myself and my sister. And I tried to like get in my seat and like jump. It didn't work. I got blocked by security. So, but it was so much fun. Yeah, but I'm in love with him. I mean, unfortunately, he's only 26. For me, that's a bit young. I don't date that young. However, I attract that young. I don't know. I didn't know for the longest time. I did not know why I was attracting young guys. But everyone tells me that I look younger. Way younger. Like, every time I tell people my age, they don't believe me. Some people have literally asked me for my ID, and I'm like, no, it's not that deep. You can either believe me or not. But yeah, I attract younger guys. However, I prefer to date older, and I feel like maybe a lot of guys think that I'm so young, so they don't approach me. I honestly don't know, but I prefer to date older. I just feel like they're more likely to be on my level mentally. Some, not all, which brings me to my story time today, guys. So there's this Cuban restaurant, and on the weekends they have a DJ come in, and it's a club-like atmosphere. So I've been going there for years, and every time I go, honestly, I prefer to dance with my brother. Reason being is because I've met a lot of guys, and you ask them if they can dance either bachata, salsa, or merengue, and they say yes. But when we dance, it's a no.
Boy, if you don't...
What are you doing? It's really annoying, and I don't mind teaching. I actually love to teach people how to dance to Spanish music, but it wasn't the time or place. Like, if I'm gonna teach someone, I will teach you somewhere else, not at the place that we're supposed to be having fun and actually dancing and enjoying ourselves. So, but back to my brother. He is a pro. I mean, every time we are out somewhere dancing, everyone thinks that he or both of us are Hispanic and thinks that he's Dominican. He gets that a lot. And I have to constantly remind him, you're not Dominican, bro.
You're black. Okay? Okay.
But he's great though. He can dance, and he actually brought my entire family into the whole Spanish culture and taught us all of the dances. And by now, if I do say so myself, your girl's a pro. She knows her stuff. Seriously. So I was out that weekend and I met this guy, and for the sake of this video, let's call him Ben, okay? And Ben was fine. I mean, I was so into his physical appearance and the fact that he was older than it was insane. That earned him low-key cool points. So we met and he said, you know, he'll find me later for a dance. I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, please know how to dance. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but please know how to dance. I can't do it tonight. So he ended up finding me later that night, and Ben is no joke. The man can dance. I mean, he is literally the only guy that I can recall out of all these years.
It's been 84 years.
That is even a match for my brother when it comes to dancing, Spanish dances. So that impressed me because I love to dance. I mean, I love to have a good time. And so it's funny, I've always had this little saying that if I ever find anyone that dances better or just as good as my brother, we're getting married. Like, it's a wrap. No questions asked. We going to the altar tonight, honey. So the first time we hung out, Ben invited me to a Cuban restaurant, and I accepted, and he also wanted to pick me up. I love the chivalry of it, and I did, but I politely declined the pickup because I just always like to take precaution. It's different if I'd known him prior, then yeah, he could have picked me up. But I politely declined that, and I actually just talked to my brother, and I actually talked to my brother, and he ended up driving me to the Cuban restaurant. So before we get there, I'm telling my brother, I'm like, hey, like, when we get there, just, you know, get out, meet him, talk to him, just fill him out a little bit. Because if I didn't mention before, my brother actually speaks fluent Spanish as well. So we get there, and he's talking to the guy, and they're just going back and forth with the conversation. And I always love to listen to him talk to other people in Spanish because
I understand it
better than I can speak it. And so usually I can dissect the conversation. I can figure out what they're talking about. But yeah, so we ended up eating, and the food was really good, actually. I love some Cuban food. And the conversation was really good as well, despite the language barrier. I mean, he spoke as much English as I spoke Spanish. It was what it was. but it was like fun and like interesting, and it was different. So I love that. Like that piqued my curiosity instantly. So as we're talking, he asks me why was it that I was single and what was it that I'm looking for. And I love that. I love when a guy isn't afraid to ask what, you know, what a person's intentions are and make theirs known. Like, that was a home run for me.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Holy smokes. Wow.
So I told him that I would like a serious relationship. I would like to be married one day as well. But I was not,
was not
looking for anything physical, okay? Like, that's not where my head was at all. And I'm not afraid to tell guys that, because if that's what they're looking for, that's fine. Sweetie, you can go do you and I'll go do me, but we won't do each other. You feel me? Like, it's just, that's not what it is. So I respect that. Like, if you know, if I ask that question, I'm out on a date or whatever, and that's what a guy says, I respect him for telling me that. And then I'll know exactly what to do, and that's to go my merry way.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay, so after I told him what my intentions were and all of this and that, and he actually agreed with me. He said that that's, you know, those were his intentions as well. He would like a serious relationship. I also told him that when I'm getting to know someone, I like to take my time. That's very important for me. I do not like to rush into things, nor do I force anything. So that was important. But he ended up agreeing with me. He said that his intentions were the same, and that he actually had been married prior, but he was now divorced. And guys, wait for it, he had 0 kids. Honey, I love children, but right now, when it comes to dating, I just prefer the person that I date to not have any. I don't have any. I do realize that, you know, the older I get, the chances of that are least likely, especially wanting to date someone older. But it's possible. Like, he was in his early 40s and he didn't have any kids, so it's possible. Yeah, so he was older. He was older. He was established, and he had his own catering business, which I didn't mention. He had his own catering business, and I mean, he just seemed like he had it all together.
Roses at your feet, baby girl, be mine. Baby girl, be mine.
Okay, so date night. I call this more of a date night because this hanging out session was in the privacy of his own home, and I just feel like people's resident, like the place where they sleep at night and all this and that, it's a intimate setting. And so I don't just go to random people's houses that I'm like interested in dating. Now, if I've known them for a while, it still depends. But yeah, so he invited me over, and prior to this, we'd hung out probably about 4 or 5 times. Like I said before, he had his own catering business, so he'd cater different events like birthday parties and things like that. And so I'd gone to a few of those prior to ever going to his place, and it was a really good time, and it was good to see him in his element, you know. And it was free food, free drinks. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. So I agreed to go to his crib and just hang out. And now I did give my mother the address because I'm still very cautious. There are some crazy people out here. They can fake like they sane, but they're crazy. So I think that everyone should be more cautious. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything, you know, rather be safe than sorry. So I got to his place and he cooked for me. I don't know about you guys, but I love a man that can cook. It's so impressive to me. I feel like as women, we're expected to know how to cook, you know what I mean? And so when we can cook, it's still a good thing, obviously, but it's not like, oh my gosh. But when a man can cook, it's like,
Bruh.
like, yo. So that just earned him even more cool points with me because I was impressed. And he cooked me Cuban food. I love Cuban food, y'all. The food was so good. Like, it was good, okay? So after we ate, he gets up and he says, I have something for you. And I'm like, okay. And he goes to his room and he comes back out with a bag of clothes. I was like, okay. Okay. So he bought me a complete outfit. He bought me pants, a shirt, and a pair of sandals, I believe.
Thanks.
And surprisingly, he got the size right for the pants. I mean, they were elastic waist, so anybody probably could fit them. But and the shirt was too small, and then the shoes were like 2 sizes too big than what I actually wore.
And in my head, I was just thinking like,
if he wanted to get me something like that and he didn't know my sizes, even for the shoes, like, you couldn't just check my shoes when I went to the restroom, or, I mean, just ask me? I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was odd, kind of. But I said thank you. I'm not really sure what my facial expression was, to be honest. I have a hard time controlling that most of the time. But I did say thank you. So later on that night, we start to watch a telenovela, which is a Latin American soap opera. And if you guys have never watched it, watch it. When I tell you it is so entertaining, like, I don't know everything that they're saying, but it's pretty entertaining to watch. Like, the freaking acting scenes, bro, are so lit. Like, you have to check it out. So y'all, I almost forgot. I don't know how I forgot this. So after one of the events that he catered that I attended, I think it was like a birthday, maybe a quinceañera, I can't recall, but it was someone's birthday.
bruh.
Yeah, but it was someone's birthday and it was the end of the event, so he walked me to my car and I hugged him as usual, and he stopped, kind of like like, I just have this like sixth sense that I know when someone's gonna like try something. I don't know. And so he like slowly pulled away, and then he tried to kiss me, and I was like, yo, I was not feeling it. Like, we hadn't hung out long enough for me to kiss you. I didn't feel comfortable kissing him, so I just went to the side and he just like chuckled or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, you know, it was sweet, thanks, but no. I'm just kidding. No, I was like, thank you, but it's I'm not ready for that yet, you know. So yeah, so okay, so I thought we had an understanding once again. So later that evening, we actually met up at the movies, and we got some little snackies for the movie. I usually take my own snacks, but he bought them, and I was like, okay, you know, whatever. And so we get in the theater, we sit down, and they're playing previews, and intensely watching the previews because y'all, I be into it, like. Tunnel vision. I love movies, and so I'm into the previews, And one preview goes off and I hear, I was like, yes? And he's like, oh, I have something to tell you. I was like, I'm all ears. And he's like, no, I should have known. And so I leaned in hesitantly because I'm already wondering what he's up to. I just had a feeling. So I lean in with caution. Y'all, he goes full force for my lips. Sir, did we not just talk about this? Like, oh my god. Yeah, so he kisses me. And I was like, kind of like fake smiling. Like, okay. I was like, I thought we just had this conversation. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. You know, you're so beautiful.
Really?
I was like, okay. And I think that's all I said because I just had no words at that point. I was low-key annoyed actually because I don't like when I say something and it's just completely disregarded, aka disrespected. Like, I felt annoyed. Hey guys, I am so sorry. After I filmed this video, I realized then that I left out an entire portion of the story. So you may have noticed the lighting change as it was a new day and I had to go back and record the scene that I left out. But this scene here that you are watching is one evening after hanging out at Ben's place, and it's now the end of the night. I'm hugging him and I'm on my tippy toes hugging him because he's like super tall. And as soon as I'm pulling back, he looks at me and he's like, I'm gonna show y'all. This is him, okay? Pretend I'm standing up. We're here actually. Okay, hold on. So he looks at me and he says, "Te quiero, mama." So I'm pulling back and I'm like thinking to myself, did he say I love you? Hi. My edges. I sorted my edges out. Name that movie. Oh, I didn't know the little squares move everywhere my face moves. When I move, you move. Cause my eyes are too sensitive for that shit. Period. Like when I use face wash, all I do is wash. Wash, wash. Wash, 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 wash. What was that on?
Wash, 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 wash.
Can be close enough to see. Do you have any candy? Nope. Bastard. Bruh, what you doing? Tripping. Bruh, be still. Bruh. He learned to sit up by himself. Yo, I can't even do it. Y'all, Yo, I've had him so long. Oh, he's injured. Who did this to you? Alright. Okay. Where my hair is laid. Period. Alright. Oh, y'all. I almost forgot. I don't know how. Yo, this is still. I'm like, I feel like it was back further. So let's go back. And oh shoot. Oh shoot. Come on. What up, though? Hey, oh my god. Girl. Oh. Bruh. Oh, and y'all, I almost forgot. Like, cut my head off. You can't even see this. And if this earring fall one more time, I promise. I promise. Oh my god. Why can't you see the desk? Like, should I put the camera on the floor or? Yo, I'm tripping. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. All right, let's lower this. But what? Bruh. Get it together. Get it together. Period. Okay.